All right, let's see what else we got going on in the news. You guys want to talk a little WNBA?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I talked about it a little bit on Part of My Take, so I've said my piece on it, but I'll let you guys go off on it.
I listened to Pardon My Take, so I know what you said, but Arian asked for me to ask you to explain what you said.
Okay, for all the double dippers out there that have listened to both, I apologize. I'll just do like a Cliff's Note version of it. I think that the beef could be very good for the WNBA, but they're not going about it the right way. I think that there's a lot of people in the league that are resentful and jealous of Caitlin Clark. She's making millions of dollars coming into a league where most players don't make that much money. She's receiving all the media attention. She's a white woman that's playing a predominantly black sport, and there's a lot of emotions around her coming in and everybody wanting to know about her, as opposed to people that have been in the league for a while. And you see this across a lot of other sports where there's a new young hotshot coming in and they get a lot of backlash. They get hatred. They're persona non grata for a while. I don't think that's anything particularly new. But what I don't like is she's getting like hip checked. Her opponents are like celebrating when they take cheap shots on her. Players really don't like her. That's fine. I wish that they would just say it with their chests afterwards and not try to act like everything's fine, that they don't care about Caitlin Clark. Like they're telling reporters, don't ask us about her in the post-game pressers. There's Angel Reese just didn't do one, and she got fined for that. And she's publicly said nice things about Caitlin Clark, like, no, it's all love. Like I don't hate her. There's no problem there. There definitely is beef there, and it could be very, very good for the sport if you just stood on it and embraced it and said, like, yeah, I don't like her. I think she gets all the attention, and there's a lot of other good players in the league, and
but you said you think it's good for the WNBA.
I think it could be if they stood on their actions and they publicly said, yes, we don't like her.
I don't agree with that.
I think that would be good for the league, because it's like hatred makes you love sports. And for the longest time, women's sports was looked at, and it still is to a certain extent, which I don't really like, through this lens of let's root for everybody. Isn't everybody great? And I think that's an okay way to like promote it sometimes, but I also think that the reason that people get really into sports and the reason why they grow, why sports bring in a lot of money, is because you have fans who are fanatics who love their team, hate their opponent, and they get personally invested in these cities and in these teams, and it becomes a big part of their lives because there's rivalries, there's hatred. There's, like you talk to Philadelphia Eagle fans.
Okay.
So like I think a certain extent that's really, really good for a sport, and it gets people, we're talking about it. It's been in the national news. She's obviously much, much better than just like a normal first overall pick coming into the league. She's the all-time leading scorer in college basketball. She's awesome. People have strong opinions about her. I think she'll be a good WNBA player. But having rivalries and having like this team doesn't like this team, I think that's great for the sport.
All right. Do you think in the 30 or so year history of the WNBA that there have been rivalries?
Yes, there have.
Okay. We haven't heard about them.
Yeah.
So clearly rivalries are not necessarily driving popularity of the WNBA. It is exclusively Caitlin Clark. And I have never seen a business do a worse job of protecting its only valuable asset than the WNBA is doing. I think it's insane.
I wouldn't say only valuable asset.
When's the last time we talked about the WNBA before Caitlin Clark?
Sabrina Ionescu. Sorry, just
how long did that last? 5 minutes?
Yeah, I mean she's a good player. People talk about the WNBA occasionally, but obviously with Caitlin Clark, it's way, way bigger. I'm not saying that she's not.
Nobody has ever talked about the WNBA on the scale that they are right now.
Correct.
And it's exclusively because of Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, I think almost exclusively.
So she is the unquestionably most valuable, arguably sole valuable asset of the WNBA, and they are letting other players go out there and literally assault her. It's crazy.
I don't know.
It's crazy.
It was a cheap shot.
Shit.
It was a cheap shot.
No, listen. I'm not saying that she was, battered
Assaulted.
beyond.
You getting real Karen-esque vibes right now.
Okay, but I'm saying if you're the WNBA, you're letting other players go out there, not in the course of a play or anything, and just shove her to the floor.
Bro.
That's crazy.
That is why 90s NBA basketball was great. That shit is what I want to see from the NBA. I want to see your superstars be able to take one on the fucking chin. And I'm with you. Caitlin Clark is absolutely the reason why everybody watching. But it's like Floyd Mayweather, right? A lot of people watch him because they love his art skill and they love how he, his hand speed was amazing. But a lot of motherfuckers hated him and just want to see him lose. So everybody tuned in. Same vibe. Caitlin Clark is not an angel, bro. She's feisty. She be talking shit. She be bumping people too, right? Which makes the other players say, "Oh, cool, this your golden boy. I'm gonna come right back out and show you ain't."
All right, let
And
me ask y'all this.
That is what's feuding this shit.
Let me ask y'all this. So this continues, and like every team hates the fever, right?
Run it.
And somebody goes up to Caitlin Clark, does something very similar, and Clark tears her ACL, and she's out for the season.
Oh my
God! No, no. This isn't going where you think it's going. Let me finish. Damn. All right. So she tears her ACL. She's out for the season. Do people, because you're saying the rivalries are good, the hatred is good, whatever team does it, let's say it's the Chicago again. Do people are they now like, oh, I'm going to watch the Sky games because I really hate them now? Do you think the viewership would remain consistent and people watching because they really hate the Sky and they want to watch?
If Caitlin's not playing anymore?
I hate this argument.
What? I'm asking. You can say yes.
I'll tell you why I hate this argument, bro. I hate this argument because fuck that shit. They literally had Jordan rules with the Detroit Pistons. When that motherfucker go up, you hit his ass and you make him go on the floor. What bothers me about, and I am a known, women's basketball has never been appealing to me, right? And this is why. If the WNBA wants to have the notoriety and wants to have the prestige the NBA does, in my opinion, that also comes with the same amount of critique, right? So when the Lakers play, you see me when the Lakers play. Anybody that shoots the ball and misses, I'm like, you sorry motherfucker, right? That's sports. When dudes just play, that's sports, right? And that women's basketball, there should be no thing. So when Caitlin Clark going up for 11, she gets hit, and if you like physical basketball, hit her. But this is what comes with it. There should be no, if you want sports to be equal, that is what it is.
And I think you and I are talking from different. I'm not watching it either way. I don't care. I'm talking from
get the fuck out of here.
I'm talking from the perspective of the WNBA. I don't care.
Oh, well, then good.
They need to do a better job of protecting her, because if she, God forbid, something happens, they've lost their meal ticket.
Arian, you laugh, but what if Angel Reese sends a venomous snake to Caitlin Clark in the mail, and she opens it up and it bites her, and then she's no longer playing in games? Then are you going to tune in the Sky? Big T, you said it yourself. You're not going to watch either way. So
correct.
All due respect, you're not. They don't need to care about what you think.
Well, they need to care about somebody watching.
Correct. And I think that so they retroactively assessed Kennedy. They gave her a flagrant one after the fact. They probably should have called that in real time. That would have been good to do. But they went back and they called it.
Do you know the player's last name because you love the rivalry so much, or did you forget?
No, we've talked about it.
What was her name?
Kennedy C.
Damn.
Yeah, the defense rests.
Well,
you love the rivalries, huh?
No, listen. Next time these two teams play, are you going to watch? I'm going to watch. I think a lot of people.
You're going to watch Kennedy, last name TBD, and the Chicago Sky.
But you don't know half of the players that you watch on football. You don't know all the offensive line.
Yeah, and I don't claim I'm the number one NFL fan. I love the rivalries.
There's very few businesses that want you to be the main draw. There's very few businesses. Even Apple. Apple's main goal is to get a 2% or a 3% hardcore fan base. They want casual fans. Casual fans is what makes it enjoyable. Fantasy football is what makes football so popular. You want casual fans. You want this. This is great.
I agree.
This is what I'm saying. Let these motherfuckers go at it.
But if the only discourse around your league is your number one superstar is getting thrashed by every team they play.
That was the NBA in the 80s and 90s. That was the NBA. And
the NBA was an established brand in the United States.
TFT, please back me up here. And all old heads feel like this. Basketball is soft now. Basketball is soft now because there used to be hand checking and there was shit like Jordan rules, the bad boys, the Pistons. People loved that shit. People love that shit. So all this I think it's because, and you call me woke, it's because it's a white woman. It's a white woman and we gotta protect her. That's what it is. That's what it is.
That's why everyone hates her, certainly.
I think that has and yes, to a broader point, yes, race wars in America will always be prevalent, dog. Until there's some reckoning in the hundreds of years from now, race wars are a thing and they will be a thing. So when a white athlete gets going and is cooking, black athletes feel a certain way. It is what it is. That is just like when we had Oscar De La Hoya on, right? Remember we had Oscar De La Hoya, and I was like, yo, when I was growing up watching boxing matches, and it was a black dude versus a Mexican dude, I felt it all throughout my neighborhood. I felt it. If there was blacks and Mexicans in there watching, you picked a side. That's just the race relations of America. That's just where we at. And when you watching sports, Ricky Hatton versus Floyd Mayweather, whatever. It's a thing. It's always going to be a thing. It doesn't mean we got to go take to the streets and riot, but like, it's just you rooting for your squad. It is what it is. That is an element of sports that I don't think is ever going to be not a thing. So, but as of right now, it's a thing. Run with it.
If she gets injured, yes, that would be bad. That would be very, very bad for the league. But I don't think it's going to get to that level. I think there's going to be hard fouls on her. I think that she's going to be targeted definitely as if you get the chance, hammer her, hit her hard. That's going to happen, and I think that will be good. Like, next time these two teams play, I am definitely going to watch. I watched this game. I don't know Kennedy's last name, but I watched this game, and I saw it happen live because that's a good rivalry. And you know why it's a good rivalry is because it goes back to their college competition between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark when they hated each other. And Angel Reese was doing shit like putting the crown on the seat for like the petty passive aggressive stuff.
And Caitlin Clark did the Tony Yayo, you can't see me.
Yeah.
It is what it does. That's what makes sports fun, bro. So like all this protector shit.
I don't disagree with you.
I'm just saying, armbarring her and shit, bro.
If I was the WNBA, I would be a little more protective of my number one asset.
I think they will be
into that shit if I'm them. I'm leaning in.
I think they'll be protective. I think they'll be on the lookout more for obvious flagrant one fouls, and they'll probably call those. The refs will be looking for it. But I do think that having like Caitlin Clark versus the world is good because she's such a good player that she's going to be good no matter what. And the second she starts beating teams that hate her, then there will be almost like a mutual respect thing that happens where her opponents that hate her are like, God damn, she keeps kicking her ass. Like I still don't like her, but God damn if she's not good. And then the rivalry grows. This is what happens with sports, and I think it's going to be very, very good for the WNBA. But I would like to see the players that don't like her stop pretending that they like her. And also, I would like to see Caitlin Clark's teammates standing up for her.
It was like that with Larry Bird too.
That's why I said that on part of my take. It's like you have a very good white player that's coming into a predominantly black sport. The black players are resentful of all the attention that the white player is getting. They don't like that person, and then eventually, if the person's good enough, then there will be like it'll just
respect.
Be a rivalry. Yeah, they're going to respect each other. They might not like each other, but they'll respect each other.
But this is like to Big T's point, like if the media plays into that and if they go that route, it's just going to add fuel to the fire. Like that, because that shit is not if they was out there cold cock punching her and shit, yeah, I see where you had a point. But like, that's not happening. She gets roughed up. You get pushed. It is what it is. And I've seen Kayla Clark play. She aggressive, bro. She jaw, right? You be talking shit. She's not out there just shooting threes and minding her business. She be talking shit. She be up in people's faces, which I like. Don't get me wrong. I fuck with that. But it's like I tell my kids, because I coach my kids in basketball. You can talk all the shit you want, but you better be willing to take it too. Better be willing to take that shit. So I'm all for it. This shit's fun to me. Like, but I think there's other variables in play too. You mentioned, you alluded to it, PFT. There's a lot of women, not just basketball players, but a lot of women in general that have been kind of lobbying to get more attention towards the NBA because they're really good athletes in the NBA. And I think a lot of them are kind of like salty that this is the reason why. Right. And that is what it is. Like you can't control that. So I understand why they're upset, but I also understand Caitlin Clark's like, I was playing basketball. Why the fuck everybody mad at me?
But does that not indicate that if there is somebody in the WNBA worth watching, people will watch them?
That say that again.
So people are watching Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
On the whole, people haven't really watched the WNBA before, which would seem to indicate that if there is someone that the market determines is worth watching, people will watch it.
Yeah.
So so there's really nothing to be upset about.
No, because I mean, there's different dynamics at play. Like I said, there's definitely a race element that probably nobody's going to talk about publicly on either side, right? But I don't got a dog in the fight, so like I understand the dynamics being a black athlete. There's that dynamic, but there's also the dynamic of like they've been building this brand for decades, and like this is the reason, and they might feel a certain way about why this is the reason. It's a rookie. She ain't really proven herself. Like, you know what was it, Diana Taurasi? She was like, she gonna go up there and play against some grown ass women, right? Like, so there's that element of like, you got to prove yourself to me first, right? Which I get it. I was in a league where you had people come in and then you see them in practice and you gotta show me. You know what I mean? Like you gotta strap it up. But there's a lot of moving variables. But I think laying into that whole victim, you got to protect her bullshit that's the wrong move. To me, that's a bad play.
I think that there's definitely resentment, and race does come into it. But also, if you watch basketball, Caitlin Clark is not the person to say like she's only popular because she's white about. She's very, very good. Like she's
nice.
It's
a collection.
She's the best women's college basketball player in history.
Yeah.
And she solidified that if you look at the numbers. So if you're saying, oh, she's only getting this type of like spotlight on her because she's a white woman, you're missing the mark. Also, I feel bad for
it doesn't hurt though. I think that like
yes.
I said, two things can be true at the same time. There's been amazing women basketball players before that didn't get nowhere near the attention that she's getting, and she is the best, and she's getting astronomical amounts of, and so there is a disparity there, but for good reason. I think women's basketball is genuinely unmarketable to begin with, but to me, this is like a building block of that shit.
Yeah,
I'm excited for this shit. I hope I don't come across saying that's the reason because she's white. No, but there's an element in play there that I think will always be prevalent in American sports.
So I think that she's gonna take her lumps, and I feel bad for her, not because people are like hitting her, although that kind of sucks to get cheap shotted. That's not cool. But I feel bad for her because now this whole discussion is happening around Caitlin Clark, and I'm pretty sure she just wants to play basketball. I'm pretty sure she just wants to go out there and like light it up. I don't think she's comfortable having everybody like turn her presence in the WNBA into like this much broader cultural discussion that's happening right now around her, where people are getting into fights about Caitlin Clark, and I think she probably just wants to go out there and play basketball. So I do feel bad for her in that extent.
No, I don't.
Not all, not a little bit.
No, bro. Like when you feel bad for her, what do you mean?
Because I think that she doesn't want any part in like this big broader conversation. I don't think she's comfortable having people like debate the merits of her status as like, she probably feels a little bit uncomfortable going to the WNBA, which she's always been a fan of. And now everyone's like, oh, Caitlin Clark is the reason why the WNBA exists. That's probably uncomfortable for her.
Oh, well, okay. In that sense, it's probably a little uncomfortable, but I feel bad for her. I mean, she's doing what she loves to do. She's making millions of dollars. Like, feel bad for her? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but her teammates do need to stand up for her. That was weird that they're not going to have her back.
I didn't see that. What happened with her teammates?
She gets tossed to the ground a few times a game, and her teammates aren't ever like getting in anybody's face, backing them down.
Oh, I guess I haven't paid attention to that.
So her teammates might have some resentment towards her as well, which is not good. That part's not good. But that's also just me speculating right now.
As an old school basketball fan, though, PSC, you understand where I'm coming from? Where it's like
this is awesome.
That's I love that shit. Like I'm on record saying I want my sports more violent.
Yeah,
I want them more violent. Hell yeah. It's like when they started making those quarterback rules changes, like back about when I came in the league. Man, I hated that shit. You watch somebody come and slap Peyton Manning in a helmet and that's a flag, but get the fuck out. Like I hated that shit, right? Like I grew up watching Steve Young. I grew up watching John Elway. Like those kind of guys Randall Cunningham, who was like, we all played the same game, and now quarterbacks don't really play the same game. You can't really touch them cats.
That's actually a really good point. And so think about how the NFL treats quarterbacks and how the NBA treats its star players. Now imagine that the NFL had been flying commercial every year until just now, and then a generational talent comes into the league that changes the economics and every dynamic of the entire thing. How would the NFL treat that player?
That's exactly what happened to the NFL, dog. That happened when Peyton Manning and Tom Brady came into the league and started having success. That's exactly what happened.
Okay, exactly.
That's why I'm saying it's bullshit.
All right, I guess we just disagree on whether, you should. I'm speaking purely from if I was the WNBA, what I would be doing.
No,
There's a
okay,
big difference though between a sport like football, where on any given play, a quarterback's knee could have exploded.
You can say that about any sport.
But in basketball, how frequent is it that you have an injury that takes place during a foul that severely derails a player's career?
Not a ton, but
it doesn't.
It could happen.
It could happen, and I don't think that it's gotten to the point of that. And I think that the WNBA will tell players or tell refs to be on the lookout. If she's targeted, we need to call those flagrants, and we do need to protect her a little bit. But I also think that it's part of the game. Being physical with people is part of the game.
What happened the other day, not part of the game.
Cheap shots, not part of the game. No, but physical basketball is going to be good. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, under the law, right? Yeah, that's a foul. But it's sometimes they had Hack and Shack, right? They had these rules where it's basketball is a physical sport. And to me, when they started implementing this flopping shit and that non-hand checking, as a lover of basketball, I kind of stopped watching religiously like that because it just became really it's like a milquetoast kind of. It's just a vibe that I couldn't really get with, and that's why the Caitlin Clark shit is so fascinating because it's damn, they letting them play. How many times you hear that during a playoff game or something, and it gets physical and there's no fouls? So okay, they letting them play.
Mad Dog McKenzie, what's your perspective on the Caitlin Clark thing?
Oh, I don't have one. I'm not gonna even insert myself into this.
Are we protect Caitlin Clark at all costs?
I think. Go ahead. I think that what you guys were saying about what Big T was saying, she is your ticket. Protect her from a financial standpoint and a well-being of the league standpoint. I think they need to be doing a better job of doing that kind of stuff to keep her the star that she is. From a basketball perspective, I have literally no input on that. I have never played a game of basketball in my life, so I'm not just one to.
I agree with what you and Big T are saying that they do need to protect her a little bit more, specifically in this instance of getting a cheap shot and then it's a flagrant, but it's not a flagrant one, and then after the fact they're trying to do it. I think that they're going to make sure that she's not getting thrown to the ground multiple times a game in plays that are not part of the game. Hard fouls, yeah, let that shit happen.
Yeah.
But if it's something outside of it, I think the league is smart enough to understand that we can't have that happening to her.
I also don't
so
think
one of the ones I seen, bro, not to cut you off, but one of the ones that I seen where she got pushed to the floor and she flopped.
Yeah.
Which is a flop. She pushed the other girl on the other end first.
Yeah.
There was a dude that came in. So it's she's just not like this. And if she was, I would absolutely say so. But she is very much so an aggressive player. And she talks shit, which I don't want to misconstrue. I love that shit. One of my favorite, all my favorite players are them scrappy, get in your face, talk that shit. And so I like her. I love Caitlin Clark as a player. So it's but she's just not this whole protect her thing is just.
But I don't think it's it's not her fault. She's openly talking shit. She's not in her press conference being oh, I'm so upset they pushed me over.
Yeah, she's not.
Agreed.
She's not the one that's starting this
fair
conversation.
That people are coming at her
Agreed.
when yeah, I think there should be beef and there should be drama. That's good for everyone because it brings people to watching. But I don't think it's fair the criticism she's getting for just being good at basketball. I understand the resentment because everybody wants to be like her and get all the attention, but it's not really fair to take it out on her because it's not necessarily her fault for just being good at basketball. And again, these WNBA players are getting more than they've ever gotten
because of her
in their whole career. Yeah, because she's bringing eyes to the game. I just don't understand and again, it's sounds dumb, but it's women should support women. Like they should all be
Yeah, but
on the
dog,
same page outside of the game. But like in the game, there could be drama, there could be fouls and stuff. But like,
if
I just think it's unfair that they're like she's helping and
I'm
they're
saying-
not appreciating
that's
it.
I hear that and I hear that narrative, but I'm like, if you actually watch her play, she doesn't just shoot the ball and go back to play defense. She's not passive. She talks shit. She be
No,
in
I
people's
know, but
face.
she's
And so it's
not.
like that's sports. That's why they take it out of her. If she was just like very non-aggressive, I don't even think we ain't even talking about this. If she's just chilling, she just makes threes and that's all she does. I really don't think this is an issue. But she be talking shit,
I
dog.
don't
She
think
be
so.
in they-
I disagree with that.
Bro, look
Women
at her
get
film,
very
bro. She be-
petty and they.
Bro, she be in their faces though.
I think the other teams are like the players she's playing against. They're very competitive people too.
Yeah.
So they're seeing, okay, this is the new star of the league. This is the golden boy. Fuck that. I'm going to dominate her.
But she personally has never said anything like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm so upset. Like she like is fine with talking shit and taking it.
Mhm.
Like I don't think she's ever gone out on like a press conference saying like she's upset that she's getting fouled and stuff. Maybe she's flopping, but I don't think like
she's at the epicenter of this conversation of her like talking about it. I think it's just other people putting their own narratives like
Yeah.
on her.
Yeah,
Which is all good for the league.
yes,
It's all
it's-
good for the league.
yeah, I
It's-
think
it's all-
I think honestly I agree with both of you guys and Big T. Like I don't think she needs to be protected by the league. I think she can do that herself, but like I think the players outside of the game of basketball like need to appreciate what she's doing for the game.
Mhm.
And I think they're just like so resentful that I think a lot of them are just like annoyed.
I agree.
I think
Sure.
yeah, if you put yourself in a super competitive mindset, most people that are at the top of their games in athletics wouldn't like at the game ends wouldn't be like, man, that sucks that she just beat me. But you know
Right,
what?
yeah.
Thank you, Caitlin, for everything that you've done for the
No,
sport. Like,
yeah,
if
exactly.
If you're a dog out there, if you're
Yeah.
at the top of your game, you're like, fuck her. I hate her. And
Yeah.
I think it's going to be good. People are going to watch next time these two teams play. The ratings are going to be crazy for it.
Yeah,
I just want them to be honest about it. I want the players that don't like her to be like, yeah, we don't like her. Like,
Yeah.
that's okay. You can say that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't think I don't think you can.
I think it all comes back to positives. Like it brings eyes to the WNBA, whether it's a negative for Caitlin Clark or a positive for Caitlin Clark. But I think people need to remember how their bread is getting buttered at this exact point in time.
It's going to be a storyline that expands.
Yeah, exactly.
Like stories like this, sports are just, it's no different than watching reality TV. It is reality
Yeah,
TV.
exactly.
And in this rivalry, you're going to have somebody else that, like Kennedy, she was not part of the rivalry. She was Angel Reese's teammate. It was Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. Now Kennedy is a part of it. Now people know her in the WNBA. Now you're going to have somebody else that maybe might be on Caitlin Clark's side that goes out there, fouls somebody else hard or stands up for her. Now she's a part of the story. Now more people are talking about that storyline that's going to evolve and develop. And then it's going to bring in more revenue for the league in the long term, more viewership. I think it's good. I don't want to take the physicality out of it entirely, but yeah, don't let her get like her knees taken out with a malicious cheap shot or anything.
Not happening, bro.
It's like the ice skaters. What's her
Oh
name?
yeah, Tanya
Nancy
Harding.
Kerrigan.
Yeah.
That'd be funny if Angel Reese just met her in the hallway and hit her in the knee with a folding chair.
Well, that'd be good for the league, according to y'all. That'd be great.
Wow, blood, you're a buddy.
People couldn't wait to watch the Sky and the Mystics after that. I'm glad you're such a big WNBA fan now.
I mean,
I'm not. That's the funny thing. I'm actually.
Well, I was
not.
talking to PFT.
Oh,
I'm not.
my
No, by no means am I a huge WNBA fan. I've never ever claimed to be a big WNBA fan. It's never been. I understand who like the stars in the league are, but I've never like sat down and been like, "Sweet, we've got Breanna Stewart playing tonight. I'm definitely gonna watch." But now you bet your ass I'm gonna watch this rematch. When's the next time they play?
Yeah, I was say when is it? Because I'm definitely going.
Yeah. Let's
Pop
look
in
up
on
the
that one.
schedule.
There's only 12 teams. It can't be too
Chicago
long.
Sky, yeah.
All right, let's do a couple voicemails.
The next time they play is June 16th and June 23rd.
Let's go.
Ooh.
Is it in Chicago?
Oh my God,
Uh,
we should go.
The 23rd one is in Chicago, yes.
I wonder what the ticket prices are for
Pull
that.
up. Hey, if it's not crazy, pull up.
With Caitlin Clark, I would imagine they're not cheap.
Let's see.
No.
Looking it up on.
You said June 23rd.
Yeah.
That arena's got good pretzels.
Is it
Are
the
they soft or are they hard?
Where do they play?
Yeah, they're soft pretzels.
Hey, I'm with you then, brother. Yeah, we on the same page there.
Where do they play?
What's
I'm
your favorite
seeing
pretzel dipping sauce, though?
$250 for section 200.
Jeez Louise.
See?
That's
500
Caitlin Clark. Now
for-
look at the games when she's not playing.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
let's compare the Caitlin Clark games against teams that aren't the Chicago Sky.
Big T.
That's what I'm saying.
Dipping sauce.
I generally don't dip pretzels in a ton of shit, but like
You just raw dog pretzel?
most of the time, yeah. But like sometimes a spicy mustard or something.
Spicy
Yeah,
mustard. Okay,
cheese.
we on the same page.
Cheese and
A
mustard.
hot-
I don't like cheese a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a cheese guy.
All right, here we go. The Skies. Oh no, I'm looking at the Skies home games. So, $40, $49, $38, $27, $229.
One of these things is not like the other, I reckon.
Right. So now let's look
Caitlin
at
Clark effect, eh?
the
Fever.
Fever.
Every Fever game is going to be like that.
Where is the Fever? What city?
Indiana.
Indianapolis.
In Perfect. That's some Larry Bird shit right there.
Yeah.
Indiana Fever, WNBA.
What city is the Indiana Fever in?
Indianapolis.
Oh, it's Indianapolis. Okay.
Okay, Indiana Fever games. Fever at Sun, $88. Sky, Mystics at Fever, $2 plus. Fever Fever at the Dream, $54. Fever at the Sky, $229. Fever at the Storm, $60.
Where are the seats? Where are you looking at?
These are the get-in prices I'm seeing on Game Time right now. So, that rivalry is a thing now. It's officially a thing.
Yeah.
The market has spoken.